A long time ago, by the Lake of Lowers, lived a dinosaur called Dinky. Dinky never hurt anyone. It never fought. It never did anything but chew leaves from fir trees in the fairy forest, where the mammoths mumbled and T-Rexes grumbled as lava tumbled and the ground crumbled under the terrible heat of the sulphur. Long, lazy lizards lay on logs like layabouts, licking up the lake flies with their long tongues, as bamboo trees grew inch by inch each second, and the creaking of the bamboo echoed all across the dense, fairy forest. A clan of nomadic cavemen called the Forest tribe found peace in the rocky hills of Infit Land that was close beside the Lake of Lowers. The Forest tribe were hunters by nature, but nature also hunted them out with constant lava flows and heavy rain that flooded their caves once a year. Soon after the rains had washed away the lowland, you would see an instant change around the forest. As new growth spurted up everywhere, the thick forests were kept under control by Dinky and his friends, the dinosaurs. They loved chewing new grassy green leaves, and they loved all of the new foliage that grew around the fairy forests. Dinky had become very good friends with some of the forest tribesmen and gave them rides upon their fluffy, tuffy tails. Some, in fact, lasted for days and days as Dinky took them far, far away into the depths of the forests. One day, as Dinky was giving a ride to one of the kids from the Forest tribe, sure enough, a little terrible thing happened. The ground opened up, and the earth shook, and like a million blazes the whole earth seemed to disappear in a sulphur fire. The ground swallowed up all of the dinosaurs as they tried to run back into the fairy forest. Lucky for Dinky, as she was 10 miles away at the time, by the Lake of Lowers, and wasn't swallowed up into the deep furrows in the earth around the fairy forest. And when Dinky returned to the forest, she couldn't find her friends. She was very worried, and after a few days, she became very sad and lonely. After an ache and a shake, Dinky walked off towards the lake. When Dinky got to the water, a very strange thing happened. Suddenly, from out of nowhere, a whirring sound cut the quiet in two. The silence was broken by a box-shaped machine that appeared beside the lake. As it landed, the top of the strange machine opened up, and 3 men dressed in strange clothes got out. They looked about, and they pointed at Dinky and said, "A dinosaur! We've come back too far. This is prehistoric, not the Dark Ages." Dinky stood there, but shaking in fear as the 3 men walked over to her. "Let's take this dinosaur back with us to the 27th century, said the tallest of the 3 men. "What a fantastic idea," said the smallest of the 3. "Is there enough room in the time traveller?" said the one in between the tall one and the short one. "Sure," said the tallest of the 3. "There's plenty of room." "Okay then." The smaller of the 3 fired a dart from a handheld device that knocked Dinky unconscious. Next thing, Dinky was placed upon the spaceship. when she opened her eyes, she found herself in a strange, wonderful world. Looking all around, she didn't know any of the surroundings. She was frightened, and her eyes fell upon the steel bars of a cage that kept her prisoner. And with lots and lots of people staring in at her, it made her very uncomfortable. A man with a camera took a photo of Dinky. But when the flash went off, Dinky was frightened, and she burst out of the cage and ran away into a strange box machine that had brought her there. The door suddenly shut behind her. Dinky accidentally sat upon the control lever in the spaceship, and all of a sudden the machine started to stir and whir, and the time machine went spinning through a spiral of colours back into time, back into the age of prehistoric man. And Dinky got out of the spaceship in the fiery forest about a day and a half before the earthquake had happened. So she had plenty of time to warn all of her friends about the terrible thing that was going to happen. Of course, at first, not one dinosaur nor one tribesman believed her. But when she showed them the strange box that she came in, then they took notice of her and left the hills of Infantland. And when the earthquake came, the dinosaurs were saved, although the time machine was swallowed up in the deep cracks and melted in the hot lava underneath the ground. If it makes you wonder how I know, keep on wondering. It's only for me to know the reason why. The end.